What's happening, ladies and gentlemen of League Zero, and welcome to the post-season episode of the Countdown. It's been a long-ass time since I've had the chance to do the intro for one of these. I am joined by all the Countdown hosts from this season. Hopefully you know your respective divisions. We got Intel to the left of me on the screen. Yeah, we got RMN to the right of me. Grape bottom left, and
What's
Hooter
good, boys?
Bottom right.
Let's go. I can listen to Spotify while recording.
Yes, sir.
I can't hear it, so you're good. So anyways, grand finals. Rather exciting weekend for some divisions, less exciting for others. So for actually recapping the games, I'm going to hand it off to the individual hosts to talk about their respective division, because that's kind of what they did all season long. So I guess starting off with Novice, Intel, what's your takeaway and brief synopsis of Novice?
Yeah, so obviously going into the game, we had two juggernauts of the Novice Division coming back for a rematch that we had all been expecting since Season 2, Wisdom Academy versus Geometric. Two completely different teams than their Season 2 counterparts, but going into this, they were both, I would at least say, a lot better than their original counterparts, and I had known there was a lot of preparation from both sides, and it was very close of a game. I think what it really turned down to was just the coordinations within teams to what counted it. A lot of the fights of where Geo won was because of SD or a hero play, but Wisdom really worked together a lot and had a lot of team coordination, which caused them to win. And I mean, yes, it really went to a Game 7, which really shows you the limits of Novice and the struggles that it really takes to make that difference.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
of course, everyone will be able to see the graphic on the screen, so they'll have already known this, but obviously Wisdom won in Map 7, complete nail-biter. Geo kinda choked it out on Map 7, unfortunately. I just watched it prior to recording this, because that was the only game I didn't have any clue of what happened. And tragic, to say the least, but Geo played really well for the majority of the series and season. Titanic, player of the match, Minimax, honorable mention. Actually, fun fact, I'll have the whole spreadsheet linked down below in the description, so you can see who got player of the match and honorable mention and stuff. But Titanic got honorable mention or player of the match, I think, for 6 or 7 weeks consecutively. Yeah, it was week 8, or no, sorry, week 7.
He's a DPS player, so he continuously pops off every match. So then everyone's like, who did something? Oh, this person. Let me just vote for them.
You're echoing
Also,
a bit, Grape.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes.
God damn it. So cringe.
You just call your microphone cringe?
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking fix this. But yeah, what I was gonna ask was, isn't Titanic a returning player? I swear he was on Wisdom last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Starting flex DPS, took over for manager when Navina went off to double cap. Yeah, he was player of the match or honorable mention every single week up until week 7. Which I found hilarious.
I wasn't around season 1. Was Wisdom a team in season 1?
No, Navino came around season 2.
I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, if Wisdom comes back next year and it makes another championship, you could probably consider the novice Geo and Wisdom are basically turning out to be basically just the Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers of novice.
I'm really hoping they come back.
Yeah, it's a rivalry, I guess.
You're saying, Intel?
No, yeah, I was saying I just really hope they come back, because at least for me, this is becoming a storyline, and it's really interesting to stick up with Novice. That's why I chose to make a lot of content in Countdown for Novice.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of micro-analysis, but I think that could probably be done at a different time. Not now, to keep this moving along relatively quickly. So, Grape, you want to talk about intermediate? It's probably going to be a short one.
Yeah, I mean, coming to this game, I think this was probably the most hyped up game of this whole division. You had a DC squad that was really good in the beginning, struggled in the mid-season, and came back super hard in the end, and was able to get that final spot through a lot of team changes and a lot of trades that happened near the end. And you had a Mob Mentality team that was just really consistently good throughout all the season, and we're just coming in as this juggernaut of a team that had everything to lose pretty much coming to this game. And not to a lot of people's surprises, Mob Mentality just pulled off the win, 4-0 of course. you know, a lot of people thought it would be much closer than it actually was, and I tried to say that like on the countdown, but like at the end of the day, this Mom Mentality squad is just full of so much determined and hard-working individuals. Like they were not going to take no for an answer. Like I remember I was in a VC with this team, and they were like saying they're going to 4-0, and they literally came in and just literally shot on the whole DC team. Like I don't think like the closest series was the closest map was Kings Row, where it was a 4-3, and Mom Mentality finished with 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And that's the like it just shows like how strong this Mom Mentality team was. And the part that makes it even more surprising was they only played meta for one map. And if meta quotation marks is double shield, does it say that? They mostly played Monkey Diva Mora Lucio, which is not that strong anymore. And they somehow made it work against double cap. And that just shows how strong this team was. They were able to adapt, they were able to prepare for whatever team they faced for, and they were just a strong team overall.
Yeah, actually, I think Maverick got another map or so he's still 100% win rate in League Zero as a player.
Not even close.
Not even. He is just the Orisa / I think he played Zarya briefly, specialists. I don't know. But he did not get player of the match this time. I think they gave it to him last week. I could check, but I'm lazy. Red Knight actually got player of the match. He's had quite the redemption arc this season, compared to last season, where he was benched for QZY, formerly known as Guy. He got to beat QZY in the semifinals, and then take it all the way to the championship again, and actually start and win this time. Honorable mentions, of course, going to Phone and Court P. Court P had, I think, like 5 boops in the first 2 maps, which, considering it was like Kings Row and Nepal, I think. I don't know. It was like 2 maps where you wouldn't expect boops to happen, and he got like 5. It's like, okay.
I feel like I was really interested as well. They played Silencer as well, and a lot of people came into the series thinking he wasn't going to play. But they actually paired him up with the Red Knight, and Red Knight played the Op Tank, which is really interesting. So I do like the adaptations Mom Mentality made. It was just like yes, it wasn't as close as people thought, but you can't really like say this was a bad series. It just shows how strong Mom Mentality of a team was, and it kind of gives flashbacks to like Shanghai, right, where they were just the absolutely best team in the league, and it didn't look like anyone was going to stop them anytime soon.
Yeah.
Not much to say then.
No, I unfortunately said most of what I had to say about that series when I was casting it, so. Moving on to, not experts, I was looking at Epizeuxis, advanced.
Yeah, I am a little under the weather, but I thought, honestly, even though Epizeuxis did win 4-1, I feel like the game was closer than the score indicates. Volskaya, I know, came down to basically an overtime fight in round 4 for Epizeuxis. Rialto was a just absolute dogfight, basically. I'm pretty sure Hangzhou capped with like 4 minutes.
They capped with 5 minutes, 4 minutes and 50 seconds.
4 minutes and 50, okay.
Oh my god, that was...
Yeah, really, honestly, the only map that wasn't close was Lijiang. And I just feel like, just from what I saw, Hangzhou were trying things they did against Tokyo, and Epizeuxis wasn't really allowing them to play that way. So I feel like Hangzhou maybe was out of their comfort zone. And I also want to shout out Epizeuxis. I noticed they would switch out their DPS line a lot. They were playing a mix of Frozen, Vinny / North, and Gundam, who are all did very, very good job, I will say. Especially North. He basically came out of nowhere. He was on the bench of OC, I believe, for most of the season. And he came in for Epizeuxis after the, I forgot who was a center point. I believe Blossom. In that trade, they had 2 different trades, I'm pretty sure, but I forgot which one he was in specifically, but he came in for Epizeuxis and basically helped them win. He was extremely, extremely clutch. It's kind of, Epizeuxis just most of the season was known to most people, at least to me, as the second best team. And generally speaking, Hangzhou, for me at least, I've said this multiple times, I didn't think was that great. They played really, really well. I just feel like Epizeuxis, just in this game, came in with a better game plan, and I think they had a better idea of how to run the comms, because it looked like in most mirrors, Epizeuxis had Hangzhou beat.
Am I allowed to comment, Akri, on this game?
Yeah, and you're allowed to comment.
Yeah. So I just want to say this was a really like close game. Like, it was. I thought Hangzhou was actually gonna make the comeback after they fucking stomped on Rialto. I've never seen that fast of a time bank. Like even Epizeuxis on their attack, they kept the first 2 points, all fight wins, and they only had 4 minutes and 2 seconds remaining to cap third point. And that just shows like how back and forth the series was. In all fairness, I do want to shout out the tanks on Hangzhou Bark. I think they played better than Epi's tanks. No hate to Four or Sam, but I just feel like it came down to teamwork. I feel like Epi just had the adaptations and just made the swaps when needed to, and they just played their comps generally better. I feel like Hangzhou throughout the season kind of relied on more of those solo carry plays or more combos rather than teamwork skill, but I do feel like this was a really close series, and it probably could have went to a map 7 if few things went in Hangzhou's favor.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I haven't actually seen the official VOD because I was testing the multicam stream with Pendy at the time, and Abraxas kept getting frame drops, so you might have noticed that it kept going to me on my cam because I was the only one not getting frame drops. But I remember thinking like a lot of these fights were going down to like map defining singular fights that could have, if a few things went differently, it could have gone to a map 7 as well. So it was extremely close.
Yeah, I think Volskaya was probably just like the map that basically defined what the series was like. Epizeuxis, they won overtime. They won first point in overtime in the second round, and then they managed to squeeze out a win, capping 33% on B point in like 30 seconds, which is just completely insane. But yeah, I feel like both teams played phenomenally. It's just Epizeuxis, I think, just adapted better, played their comps better, and just generally had a better day. I think honestly that this could go either way, depending on the day. Like today, it could be an Epizeuxis could have won. Tomorrow, it would have probably been Hangzhou, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like the meta was also all over the place. There was like so many comps that could have been ran, so maybe Hangzhou kind of just prepared too much for one comp. But yeah, I do feel like depending on how it could have went either way.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it did go 4-1. And speaking of 4, he is the player of the match. I believe Rightcoast had a small aneurysm in staff chat because he's like, we found him when he was bronze and brought him up, and now he's finals MVP and advanced. So congrats to 4.
Man, Four's a legend, man. I just want to say.
Yeah, Four
goes from the Kings Row grab last season where he had his headphones on backwards.
Speaking of 4, I have to ping 4.
To finals MVP. And Kern Master and Gundam get honorable mentions as well. Gundam, another player briefly I want to mention who just like came up out of nowhere,
Yeah,
benched on Vertigo, I think.
Epizeuxis was a lot of unknowns. I honestly, the only player on that team that was honestly well known in, I guess, the community going into after the draft was Kern, and I guess Reborn. But well, they had Blossom, but on the team that won, Kern was really the only one that people really knew. Sam, Cam, Vinny, Gundam, not Frozen. Fuck, what was his name? It's leaving me. Oh god damn it! I'm sorry. I know I'm forgetting someone. But generally the people they played in the game for Sam, Cam, Vinny, as I just said, weren't known, and they came in as a championship team. They won the whole thing, and that just like that's great. I'm a big fan of that.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Gundam play like multiple roles in the series?
Yeah.
I swear that man, like, he was like playing hopscotch with the fucking roles.
He did.
Yeah, Gundam. I believe Gundam was Gundam known as H-Stop in Horizon League. I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did play off tank at one point, and in fact, I will say his off tank is actually pretty good. He's one of the. Epizeuxis has a lot of flex players. They have a lot of flexibility, and that might actually be like a good recipe for success, in my opinion.
Possibly. I think it was. I don't think it was the finals because I remember I was streaming it on Busan, so it must have been the semifinals. But Gundam was playing Echo, duped in a reset, and everyone's like, "Wait, what?" And then he like pulls, and then Vinny gets a pulse bomb for like 2 kills, and that just wins them the entire series. I think that was against Kingdom Come. It's like that was the most clutch thing I've ever seen out of the weirdest duplicate ever. It's like, oh my god, this guy's insane.
Can I just comment? This was the weirdest playoffs ever. Like the whole like bracket. Like you before the playoffs, OC 3-0'd Epizuquius. Okay, and then
Epic.
how does it Epizuquius?
Epizeuxis.
Okay, whatever. I'm gonna call him Epi. Anyways, they 3-0 Epi, and then nobody thinks Epi can make it far. Then they come in, they literally roll their opposition. Okay, not roll, but like yeah, they won. They beat them, and they just come in super strong in the finals and end up winning 4-1. And then you also have Hangzhou who beat Tokyo Drifter somehow. It's just like no one. I don't think anyone had a perfect bracket. I'm gonna be honest. Like this is so weird.
Probably not.
I feel like I just want to say the whole season. I feel like Epizeuxis kind of just put it together the last 2 weeks. I feel like obviously the OC game was probably a fluke, because they have really really good in-game leaders, especially Kern. I know Kern is like probably, if he wanted to, I feel like he could maybe be a bench player and expert, but his comms are extremely strong. I would say he's up there in like top main support with Platinum Bow, and you know that's always a big thing. Main support is like was the most lacking role in Advanced this season. You know, if you look at players like Tunic, who I mean isn't awful as a player, but you know he's not going to win your team a lot of games. But if you have like a player like Kern, Platinum Bow, Hypnotoss, you know you're gonna have relative success. And I feel like Epizeuxis showed that they got one of the best players in a role that was lacking, and that honestly I think helped them win a good deal.
Certainly, but let's move on to the final division. Pooter, you finally get a chance to talk a bit.
Oh god, alright. I'm not gonna lie, I'm watching the match right now.
Thankfully I streamed it, so...
Yeah. I just got a point where Zera cloned Jepic as Mercy.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I think that was a panic dupe, because he was like, I'm gonna die.
So overall, this was a 4-0. I predicted that Chengdu was going to win just because of the star DPS power of Bun and Zera, as well as the consistent support of Adam and Genie. But Glock just came in, played hard Sigma, Ash, and Glacial on the Tracer and Echo. And that just rolled through Chengdu. There's nothing really more else to say. The most lopsided map by far was Hanamura, where Chengdu didn't even cap a tip.
Yeah, I remember that.
And throughout the whole match, it was just Glock always had the upper hand.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. From what Chengdu didn't play bad by any stretch. I know. I saw some of Chengdu. I don't know how much of this was memeing around, but they seem to be just like yelling in text chat a lot. I say yelling because they were typing in all caps. But they didn't play bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just like they didn't play the clock particularly well. Like they weren't really playing the objective. They'd go off and take fights, but that cost them like half their time bank. So I remember thinking like Glock are just playing this smarter. They would generally take their advantages and push them as hard as possible, and that just kind of edged them out to the point where like eventually you get to Hanamura and the series just kind of went out with a fizzle instead of a bang.
Yeah.
However, there is one bright side to this, is that if you look in, I think it's on announcements, there's a message from Joshua pinned where he's like, back in like early October, so this is like week 3, week 4, halfway through the season, if that. And he's like, Glock are gonna win the whole season, and yada yada yada. Glacial's gonna get finals MVP. Well, they did not forget about their little prophecy, because Glacial is the player of the match. And Jazza and Joshua are the honorable mentions. I just found that pretty hysterical in all honesty that they remembered something from like over 2 months ago, almost 3 months ago now, and made that come true. I think this is like the second or third time Glacial's gotten player of the match as well, and it also happens to be the most special one out of the season, so congrats to him.
I just want to say real quick, I don't know very much about Expert Division. The one game I watched this season was, I believe it was San Francisco Glock against Love Muffin, where
Which one?
Yeah, where they played a 5v6 and they were winning fights.
Oh, that one. Oh.
I was watching the game and I told myself, if they're beating Love Muffin, who, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Love Muffin was generally considered about middle of the pack team, pretty good. Yeah. If they're beating them 5v6, and it looks like San Francisco Glock isn't even trying that hard, I feel like they're probably just way above everyone. And I'm pretty sure that showed.
Listen, Joshua and Pascal tried really hard to win that 5v6.
Yeah, that was entertainment. That was I respect the hell out of any team who takes a 5v6 instead of just like forfeiting.
I mean, they had fun with it.
Yeah, it looked like they were having fun. Yeah.
Pascal certainly had fun being feared as a Zenyatta by 6 people simultaneously.
Oh, Pascal still plays in League Zero?
Yeah. Well,
I thought he was in Contenders.
Yeah, but he hit Contenders mid-season, so he was allowed to finish out.
Oh, wow.
Actually, respect to him, because when Wannabe hit Contenders, he just kind of like didn't show up anymore, but Pascal's like, nah, fuck this, we're doing it.
that's a winner's mentality, you know. He's just like not gonna give up. That's a good team player, you know.
See, like I kind of like ditched my team, like.
Yeah, I read into it longer
because I had this urge to just party.
Great, yeah. I don't think anyone really minds that much of his powerhouse.
You know, in all fairness, man, if
I mean, Akimbo did it to them twice, so you know you're not the worst.
If the team in the first 4 weeks just had one win, we would have made playoffs. But no,
they were so close to winning, like so
3 map 5s. What the hell, man?
I felt
like
so bad
Chimp
for
Club
him.
Level. Map 5, Warlord, that was fun.
Anyways, I do have one more fun little thing for you guys in particular. I need to find it. Here. Share my screen.
Ooh.
This is also public to production as well. But essentially, I have like a whole list. I'll make this is what I'm going to make public in the description instead of the whole analyst spreadsheet, because there's nothing to analyze anymore. So you have like the player of the matches and stuff, but on a few other tabs, I essentially calculated how close the predictions were. And,
oh no!
Did I win again this season? Did I win again this season?
So I actually did calculate not just the hosts, but the average of the guests as well. And the analysts and the community, and I don't think you're going to be able to see this on my screen right now. Granted, it's such a small thing. You'll be able to click the link in the description below if you want to follow along, or just check it out for yourself if you're watching this on YouTube. But essentially, no one did terrible. If you did terrible, it would have been highlighted in red. If you did really good, actually no, I don't think I have it formatted to do anything in green. And like you can go up and see week by week, you know, if it's the match average is like a purplish red, like maroon, that means it was technically an upset, things like that. So I'll just go down the line. For Novice, technically the closest person was Corbs for the first couple weeks when he was the host of the countdown. He was on average 0.63 maps away from the actual scoreline, which is quite frankly insane. Keep in mind he also had a much lower amount of predictions to add into that, but at the same time he also got like, I think just aside from the first week, he had like almost every single game down to the map. I think that his last 2 weeks he actually had both games that he could predict, because he's a coach for OTW, down to the exact map. So that just like shot his score way down in average, which is a good thing.
He would DM me predictions like, this is going to be it 100%. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm going to go with this random prediction. That was always wrong.
Wait, so the lower the number, the better.
The lower the number, the better, because the average that you see is based on how many maps away it is from the actual scoreline. So Corbs was on average less than a map away, like almost a half a map away from the actual score. The next lowest, oddly enough, but also kind of makes sense, was the community, because generally Novice was predictable unless it was like Wisdom versus Geo or Edinburgh versus OTW, because those games were close, but everything else was kind of like a wash. You know, you can kind of tell the general scoreline just by looking at who was playing who.
That's fair.
Next lowest was the analysts. I'm glad to see they weren't dead last. I think they were dead last in one of these. I forget which one. And next was the guests, and then just barely behind the guests was Intel. But I think there was like 1 or 2 weeks where Intel got screwed over because, yeah, it's like week 8, last week of the regular season, where nothing was even remotely close to what anyone predicted.
I made a lot of outlandish predictions anyways. I was ready for this.
I mean, keep in mind, you have on average 1.25 maps away from the average score, considering there's like six positions that the map score could have been in terms of there's like a table in the spreadsheet as well that you can see. So like you didn't even do that bad. Like if anyone got above a 2, I'd say that would be worse. Moving over to intermediate.
Oh, I'm nervous, man.
This one wasn't bad. You actually did pretty good, I think. No,
1.6! What?
That's so
Hey,
good.
it's not a 2, bro. It's not a 2.
Hey,
What?
it's all right.
I was so good last season. What happened this season? I predicted Momentality to win every single week. I should have and they did win every single week. What?
I just said, like, as long as it's below a 2, you did pretty damn good.
Okay,
I got like a 3. I bet.
Yeah, I don't think I did that good.
I don't actually think anyone got above a 2. I think some people got like a 1.8, but that was about it.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm so mad, man.
Well, keep in mind, last season I based it off of like percentages, and it was just like this team wins or this team wins, and this time I based it off of map score. So like, it's completely different. It's a little bit more strict as well. So this really isn't that bad of a score, especially considering literally everyone for intermediate was within like 0.2, I think, just about. Because like the lowest was guest average at 1.45. The next lowest was the community at 1.46, and then the analyst was 1.64, and the grape was 1.68. So everything for intermediate was really close together. And I will say, Grape, there was 1 week, I think for intermediate, 3 games were considered upsets. It was week 5, because it was like capitalism versus mob mentality. That's when capitalism won.
Upset mob, yeah.
Yep. Double cap versus content credence. I think people were expecting...
Content was on the high because they just came back.
And then DC just sweeps them, and then Obligation versus MI6 when Obligation was on the downswing, and that... and they came back and sweeped.
In all fairness, I had to like... People were saying I'm biased sometimes, so I had to make my predictions sometimes spicy, you know, kind of change it up a little bit. So yeah, I didn't do that bad. Okay.
No one did that bad. Advanced. I think this is the one where like the analysts did a really bad.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm not last.
To be fair, I am the self-proclaimed champion of hot takes, so I feel like that contributed to a lot. I know
you are the biggest Tokyo Drifter stan ever.
Yes,
every single week, you would say they would win. Every single week.
I didn't predict any Tokyo games. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, wait,
I'm not a proud grade.
I can look up and...
Don't make up things. Don't make up things.
Okay.
That's actually why Intel didn't get
I am
anything.
very well aware that a lot of the time... I am, in part, the reason why the guest average is so low. Because I brought in people that probably did not watch the games. And I still somehow did worse than them. So, you know, I'm gonna wear that medal with pride. Obviously, next season maybe slow down on the hot takes.
Yeah, so ironically enough, the community actually had the best predictions for advanced. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And then it went analysts, then guests, barely higher, and then RMM like 0.1 higher, which really isn't that bad. Like, keep in mind, this is still all below 2 maps. So on average, he had like about 1 map difference from his actual predictions to the scoreline. And then an expert, I don't think this one was particularly terrible either. I love how when I scroll down it covers.
I see her.
Oh!
Oh yeah,
Oh,
so
okay,
the
that's
so
not
the
that
red
bad.
no
The
these are
analysts were so bad.
That's not that bad.
no, it's not. So the guests for some reason for expert were actually really good. I don't know how or why, but oddly enough, I didn't realize this until I was filling in this spreadsheet. But like every single guest that you had last week, Pooter, was part of the grand finals, so they couldn't even have an average.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, wait. Yeah,
Hey, it's all
technically.
calculated, don't worry.
Technically, according to the spreadsheet, the expert grand finals was an upset because people were expecting it to be closer to like, map 7, map 6 territory, and it just went complete sweep. So that was technically an upset.
Yeah,
I think that's
I
why
thought
Pooter.
that, Glock was gonna win, so here we are.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind also there was more numbers involved because like that's for the regular season. I had to make this table for the grand final specifically. It's very complicated. If you like stats, this might be something that you'll enjoy. But anyways, I should probably close this out. There's going to be the staff press conference right after this, I believe, as long as I can get enough of them available. I think dividing is available this week, so probably if not, I'm doing it sometime next week randomly. Anyways, I do want to thank you for stepping up and doing this podcast. Obviously, Raven Pooter are returning from last season. I think you guys felt a lot more comfortable with these divisions than Pooter doing Inter last season. But
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. During Inter, I watched like one game, that the whole season.
that's really weird because your predictions were pretty good last season.
Wait,
Yeah, you had like 79-80%, something like that. It was really close somehow.
My predictions were also like really high. I think I had like a 92, right?
Yeah, you were like 88 to 90 something in that range.
Yeah.
It's
It's because I predicted Real to lose every week, meaning I automatically got 30% from that, and the others were just kind of obvious. So.
Anyways, yeah. Also, brief thank you to Corbs. Obviously, he's not here because he's not a host right now, but you did really good in the first couple weeks of the season. Not just for predictions, but it was all entertaining and whatnot. You had a lot of people doubting your abilities to be impartial, and you did a good job in that regard. And then Intel, obviously, thank you for stepping in middle of the season, despite not being picked initially. RMM, thank you for keeping advanced in check. For keeping advanced in check.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I got one person on that nobody really liked. They know who they are. They know who they are.
So annoying, and the least mature person I know, and he has the biggest ego in the world. We could have one episode just about him. I just want to rant about him. He hurts my brain.
Yeah,
he gives me migraines. Whenever he types in chat, he gives me migraines.
I was kind of desperate that week, and he was like one of the only 3 people that talked.
It's funny because we're probably going to end up roasting him a little bit for the staff press conference, which
RMM, you could have messaged me, RMM. You could have asked me.
I don't know if you watch the games. I get yelled at.
I watch every game and I cry when I realize I'm not starting.
I get yelled at for people when the guests don't watch the games. Like, what am I supposed to do about that? I don't force them. All I do is ask nicely. I'm like, can you please watch the games? And if they don't watch the games, that's not
okay.
my fault.
Well, if we're talking about not watching games, I barely watch any intermediate games, but I just kind of winged it, and like that's kind of helps me out there.
Well, that's why your predictions are so high. Anyways, thank you all for a great season. Tune into the staff press conference if you want, I don't know, some kind of insanity. And that's all we've got. See y'all next season.
See ya.